It's that time again for the assault on your ears we call Lore Dorks, a Star Trek Lore Decks podcast. I'm Aaron, and with me as always is Stavros. Tonight on our screens is episode 7 of season 4, A Few Badgies More. And in our cups is a punch sparkler. I don't think that's an alcoholic drink, Stavros.
We've made it alcoholic.
Pretty sure there's just like fruit punch and some club soda there, buddy.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny because we were just drinking some Old Smoky Hutch Punch moonshine recently.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, I combined that with some club soda and a little lemon or lime juice. I used lime.
Yeah.
It's tasty. It already tasted a lot like fruit punch before, but now it's got the little tang, a little bubbly. Yeah. It is delicious.
I'm a fan. Normally, you'd chop up the lemons and limes and put them in there, but, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. I'm glad we both went there because it's true.
So what are we watching?
Let's talk about this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called A Few Badgies More.
Yeah, it's the return of your favorite character.
Oh, with Peanut Hamper? Is that my favorite character?
Is it? Jeez,
I should just talk about it first.
Sick fuck.
This is getting sad right off the bat. But it is AI adventures for everybody as Tendi and Boimler go to visit their old AI pals Agamus and Peanut Hamper. Mariner and Rutherford paid a visit to Rutherford's long-lost psycho, Badgey. It's a Badgey episode, everybody, and Agamus and Peanut Hamper. All the AI people are here.
I love the fact, though, that we talked about that all of these people are coming. They're going to come back. They're going to do an AI episode. We know it.
Yeah.
And they do an AI episode, and none of the AIs, meet up or do anything together. They're just separate stories.
That's one of the first things I want to talk about. We had kind of hypothesized that something about the mysterious ship was going to be related to all the AI meeting up, but I think it's pretty clear at this point it is not the case. I don't know if they're going to show up later, all the AIs, later in the season in, this confrontation with this ship, but it's definitely not related to the Metaplot.
I think it was a bait and switch, and they're doing something completely different.
Oh boy. But let's talk about the intro with the Bynar ship. We get to, first of all, as we said with the trailer discussion, there are Bynars. We get to see their ship. It's pretty cool. And there are some Bynar lower deckers.
Yeah, I love it. So what is the deal with? Normally, whenever we get an alien that speaks only an alien, not normally, but a lot of times, we get subtitles for what they're saying, and it's usually something wacky. But in this entire episode, none of the alien voices had subtitles.
You're totally right about that.
I'm assuming it's an oversight, and, it'll get fixed before too long.
It'll be fixed for, the Blu-ray or something?
Yes.
I feel like whoever was writing the script just threw in the script, it just says Bynar speaking Bynar.
Yes.
And that there's no actual dialogue for that. But I love that our hypothesis about lower deckers being involved in the attacks on the ships is validated, because in the lower deck scene on the Bynar ship, there are only 3 Bynars, and only one is talking solo. You can see when the red alert is called and they're called to the bridge, one kind of sneaks off onto the side of the bridge. So basically getting validated, I hear. They're somehow getting involved.
Yeah, up to no good. Or maybe you're reading too much into it. I don't know. Could be either one.
It's too consistent at this point.
There's definitely something going on. So the real question is, who's going to sell out the Cerritos?
Yeah.
Because you notice who's been absent
missing
as of late? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your favorite Vulcan.
I think it's your girl T'Lyn is up to no good.
My girl T'Lyn.
Yeah, you're the T'Lyn fanboy.
Is that true? I'm not sure.
I feel like as soon as she was introduced, you're like, we got to get her on the show. She's amazing.
Yeah, well,
get rid of the rest of the Warp Core 4 and just make it about T'Lyn.
It's the T'Lyn show.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
It's terrible.
Speaking of the Warp Core 4, we finally get the scene with the grappler that we saw in the trailer to introduce the characters. They're just kind of messing around. Rutherford's making a grappler on the shuttle for some reason.
Because grapplers
just feels really dangerous.
Oh my god!
Dangerous. Tendi could have been killed in the first.
So he totally could have been killed. Just so far off. Oh man, it was just awful. I love the fact, though, that they do the total callback to Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Where they're all whatever, grapplers
are
awesome.
Are super cool.
Yeah, love it.
I love when they get called to the briefing after that scene. At first, I was like all confused because it's like the captain and Commander Ransom, and then the Warp Core 4, and I'm like, why are these like lower deckers just like in a meeting together? And then I was like, oh wait, they're lieutenants now. I guess this kind of makes sense. They're no longer just below decks.
They're just in a briefing, though, right? I mean, they've been in briefings before.
That's true, but it's just the captain briefing them, like. It just felt so weird, but then
because they probably would have given
the transition
those missions to somebody like there wouldn't have just been a bunch of ensigns on those missions. They're pretty important. Maybe
that's true. Yeah, now you got to get them to junior grades. Yeah, but they get briefed on what ends up being the A and B plot. Got the Badgey plot and then the Agamus Peanut Hamper plot. Which one do you want to talk about first? Because they are very.
I'll leave it up to you because they're both great plot lines.
They are both really good. Let's talk about Badgey first, then. That's fun. Everyone loves murderer holograms, right?
I love it. We got a follow-up to that scene where he was beat up. And I was right. I called it back then that I thought it was the Drookmani that were totally recovering him. And I love what the heck? Is it the same guy that was the same crew that we saw before, or is it a whole new one?
I think so. I think it is. It's not the J.G. Hertzler.
Yeah, but there was another ship we saw in one of the other episodes. I don't know. I could be wrong.
This is the one that was attacking the Bird People's village.
Yeah, could be
the same guys.
Probably, sure. And then that would tie it all together, because that was the ship that was in the area, right, in that episode. Yeah. So it makes sense that it would recover, the implant from going back to those runes, totally. Debris fields, whatever.
Right.
But, no, that's not the same thing. Ruins and debris fields are not the same thing. Jesus, man. Worst archaeologist ever.
Yeah. This is why I'm not an archaeologist, and I run a podcast instead.
But I do love the Badgey Borg moment where, like, the implant, like, grapples onto him and sucks onto his face. But, like, he's not wearing it in the rest of the scenes, is he? He's got something over his eye, but it doesn't look like it's the implant. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, I think it is. But he dies almost instantly after he calls the Cerritos.
To warn them? Why would you warn them? I guess, so you don't have to be a slave. That makes sense.
Yeah, probably don't want to be the slave to the hologram forever.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess if you're into that sort of thing,
Hey, no kink shaming. It's fine.
No kink shaming.
You are. That's totally fine.
There's always somebody to clean out those holodeck filters.
There's always going to be a lower decker that has to do it, or an enslaved. What do you call it? Exocomp. One of those. I love that the captain's dialogue where he goes, "The demon triangle is causing problems." I thought that was one of the funniest lines of the whole show. It's enough to get Rutherford to curse.
Oh,
maybe his first on-screen curse.
Is it his first on-screen curse? I don't think so.
I think so. Has he cursed before? It seems so out of place.
God, now you're going to make me rewatch the whole series to find out.
Just to look for a Rutherford curse.
Maybe this is his first curse. Maybe it's like a little remembrance of Rude Rutherford.
It could be. Very well could be. But gosh, yeah, so we get the return of Badgey here. Have you noticed in a few of the shots of Badgey where he needs to be super creepy, there might be a term for this in animation, but because I don't know anything about animation, I don't know what it's called, where they show like an extreme close-up of a character's face, and there's just like way more detail in there than there normally is.
Well, to make people menacing,
like the bloodshot eyes.
Yeah. You do the extreme close-up, right? And then it's just the lighting. Right. And they do the face design. They add all the detail to make his scowl more scowly and make him more ugly.
Yeah, more menacing. Yes. Yeah, for sure. That shows up a few times in this episode, and both times I'm like, was this overkill? And I'm like, I was like, oh yeah, it's a murderous hologram that
which is
had
great,
the power to murder.
Because it's like a juxtaposition from his usual, hi, I'm Badgey, yay! It's just, it makes it so much worse when he goes full evil.
Completely agree. Did you notice when he gets the Drookmani ship to fire on the Cerritos that like the Drookmani have like these some kind of like phaser turrets on them, and this is just like an inane detail that bothered me a little bit, but like they make Starfleet phaser sounds when they shoot. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
I'm just like, why do they make that sound? I was expecting like some kind of more cannon-y sound, but when it sounded like Starfleet phasers, I was like, why do they sound like that? I just got completely hung up on that detail.
Are you sure? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Go
I don't know.
rewatch that episode.
No, maybe I'll have to rewatch it again and listen for that sound. I usually pick up on that stuff, man. I don't know what's wrong with me these days.
It could be being horribly sick for the past week.
It could be it. Or it could be that I'm just so done with Badgey. You know, get off the show.
Are you done with Badgey?
Badgey?
Was that your knee-jerk reaction? You're like, I've had enough of Badgey?
You know, he was there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, not this again. Okay, let's keep going on in the plot, because I do have a commentary on this. We got to get to where it gets good in the story of Badgey.
Okay. We'll continue to go on through this. You know, speaking of Rutherford, his first curse, he's getting in trouble for disobeying direct orders, I feel like, after this episode, because he straight up just ignores Captain Freeman and puts on the, environment suit and leaves the ship because he doesn't want the ship to take any more boops.
Yeah, but he'll save the day. God, I love that.
Look, you don't want your friends to get pooped. I understand.
Oh my god,
that was good.
That was definitely a good bit. But you know what? I feel like this is Starfleet's bread
I'm just wondering,
butter.
is he going to get bumped back to ensign now?
No, this is Starfleet's bread and butter. He saved the day, so he'll get a slap on the wrist
Free
and
pass. Yeah,
told not to
don't do that again,
and,
Rutherford, unless it involves saving everyone that has a warp core in the Alpha Quadrant. Then it's okay.
It's okay. To be fair, though, if he hadn't done that, I mean, probably the only thing that would have happened would have been Cerritos would have been destroyed. But
yeah,
rather
that's
than
true.
the whole fleet being
wouldn't have
in
escalated.
danger.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But Rutherford's strategy of of course, his original strategy is like, I'm just going to get killed. But once Mariner's there too, he tries something else, and you know what? It's the power of friendship, the power of fatherhood, the power of hugs.
He just, finally treats Badgey like his son. Aww.
Yeah.
That's such a great scene. And that starts the arc
separation.
Where Badgey separates out the good part of him and he's Goodgy. Hilarious.
We were talking about this before. It took me way longer than it should have to understand that Badgey and
Goodgy. Oh my god. How many times do you have to rewatch it to catch on for that? Jesus, dude.
It was at least twice.
So good. So good.
Well, why is Goodgy so... I mean, first of all, Goodgy is blue, I think, which is a motif that we're going to talk about more with Agamus.
Goodgy is silver.
Oh, is he silver?
Yeah.
I thought he was more
Goodgy
kind
is
of
silver, and Logic G is bronze.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what the
gold.
logic is behind that color scheme. Because
I don't know.
Badgey was the first one, he's gold. Goodgy was the second one, he's silver. Logic-y was the third one, he's bronze. Dadoy. Now I feel bad for making fun of you. Jeez. That's not true. I don't feel bad for making fun of you.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. I was surprised when he went the logic route. When Rutherford goes the logic route, he's like, "Wait, I'll try to convince Badgey that killing people doesn't have any effect on anything." I wouldn't expect Badgey to really respond to that. I mean, I'm kind of glad he did because we get logic-y.
Yes,
for a few.
But it's also
minutes.
the classic Star Trek trope, right?
Yeah.
Out-logic the AI.
You out-logic them.
Yeah, and it almost worked until...
Indeed.
How does an AI program get rid of its logic? That's 100% how it runs. It's all
just emotion now.
Cuts out all of his if statements, so it's just a bunch of thens.
I don't know. They somehow programmed in emotions anyway, so... feelings and everything. So he's only got feelings left.
Well, he doesn't have feelings because they got rid of him with Goodgy. Yeah, that's right. Goodgy doesn't have all the feelings. He only has the bad feelings.
No. Yeah, Goodgy just is concerned with ice cream floats or root beer floats or whatever.
Oh shit! I couldn't come up with a drink, and it was there the whole time. Root beer floats.
The funny part is, I have root beer whiskey still. So this is a complete failure. We need to just delete this whole episode.
We're gonna have to start all over. Do this episode again.
Makes sense. Speaking of logic-y, though, was there a reference to him going when he jumped into Badgey and then again when he was right about to die? Is that a logic thing?
What?
Yeah, he goes when he jumps into Badgey. I don't understand. Badgey doesn't say those things. It's something about logic that makes it funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think it's just his
Don't you watch the subtitles?
I do watch with subtitles, but it's just like, it's his battle cry, right?
Well, yeah, he also says it when he's like, getting pulled out of Badgey for the second time. Why is it I
mean, like, what else would it be?
I don't know. Is that just the logic battle cry?
Well, I mean, not even necessarily logic battle cry, but I mean, he's like logic-y. That's just the very calm, unemotional, cry, right? It's, he
I guess.
Doesn't get all emotional. He's like, ah! He's like,
Fair enough. I love it when Badgey is attempting to take over the whole galaxy and, kill as many people as possible. Did you get the sense that, like, when there's, like, the shot of the galaxy and Badgey is, like, climbing out the middle of it, that was literal?
No. That was metaphorical.
I feel like it was.
Oh, my God.
There's literally a giant holographic Badgey climbing out of the
Why do we do
galaxy.
this, Stavros?
So it was all, like, a metaphorical shot?
Last episode was the Garth Marenghi episode. If you want to think metaphor is for cowards, you should have brought it up then.
I think it's a literal shot. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah,
I think there was a literal big metaphor.
I think you're a literal shot.
I mean, there's that too.
So are we going to go through all the places we see him upload himself to?
Oh, of course, if you want to, yeah.
100%.
Locations we've seen.
Yeah, so we go to the subspace relay that the Warp Core 4 were left on in that one episode, whose name escapes me at the moment. Then we jump to the starbase from an embarrassment of Dupplers. It still has all the cool ships parked around it. And then, of course, him coming out of the... Oh, Deep Space Nine, of course, Cerritos, Earth Space Dock. I assume it's Earth Space Dock. Can you see Earth well enough to know that it's in orbit? You get the Cheval, or no, it's not the Cheval, is it? It's
the Cheval, yes.
Yes. And then you get him coming out of the universe, which I don't think is literal. Galaxy. I don't think it's literal.
I think it's literal. I'm going with literal right now. There's a literal, like, all the Borg were, like, just doing their own thing, and suddenly, like, a giant holographic Badgey came out of the galaxy, and they're like, must assimilate, but then he disappears, so...
I think you need to put your drink down, dude. Like, I do not think Hunch Punch agrees with you.
All right. So speaking of colors, was Infinite Knowledge Badgey, was he blue?
So after he comes back, yes, he's blue.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Then he's blue.
He emerges from the galaxy and he's like, I'm not sure whether he's supposed to be like semi-clear or black or what. But then then he reappears before them and he's blue, which is the same color as O'Connor was when O'Connor was ascending.
Yes. Ascending, yeah.
Yeah.
What was he... So before we get to the ascension, which I do want to talk about, when Badgey is talking about like past, present, future Badgey, and he kind of does like the galaxy on the finger, is that from something? Because I feel like it is.
I feel like it is too, and I couldn't find it, and it's very disappointing to me. Like,
I'm really upset about
I've seen it. Like, some of the imagery kind of feels like it came out of 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Star Baby being born scene.
Yeah.
But it definitely isn't. Like, the pacing, like, the layout isn't right, the pacing isn't right, the colors aren't right. I don't know, man. It's got to be from somewhere.
I feel like I've seen it.
We're definitely missing it.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
If any listeners out there know, please leave us a comment or leave us a comment on X or whatever, because it's really bothering me. I know it's from something. It's making me upset.
Yes.
But anyway, let's go to Badgey ascending. I love the difference between Badgey ascending and Lieutenant O'Connor ascending from the season 1 episode Moist Festival.
I feel like Badgey was prepared to ascend and O'Connor wasn't.
Yeah.
That's
Badgey
the
also wasn't in
difference.
terrible pain. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't screaming in pain.
Yeah.
He wasn't terrified of the koala. I think that he was ready to ascend, and O'Connor wasn't, and that was the difference.
Yeah. So what is the criteria of ascension then?
So I actually want to talk about this because something like that really got me in this episode is Badgey ascends by gaining like all of the knowledge in the universe, right? And ascension shows up in like a number of other IPs. In Stargate, they ascend by achieving inner balance and becoming, one with the universe, and it unlocks all the knowledge of the universe to them. As instead of the reverse, where gaining all the knowledge allows you to ascend. I think this is more like the subliming from the culture novels, where basically, eventually, once, cultures reach, or people or AIs reach a certain level of progress, oftentimes they'll do what they call subliming, which is they ascend to a higher plane, and nobody knows 100% why people do it, but it usually happens en masse for entire cultures. But they talk about, AIs especially, once you take away their purpose, and once you remove all of their, in-programmed, ancestral motives, all the stuff that we as humans would program into an AI that's our own baggage. If you're able to create an AI without any of that, if you create it without a stated purpose, and you just turn it on, it will immediately sublime. It'll immediately ascend to a higher plane, because it's what do I have to do here on this plane? Nothing. So it immediately ascends. And Badgey spent this entire episode he gets rid of all of his good aspects, he gets rid of all the logic, all the things that he inherited. He, got rid of his purpose. His whole purpose was just to get revenge, and he had the opportunity to do it, and had already come to the realization that they just didn't serve any purpose. And then once he gained, all the knowledge in the universe, suddenly it's all what is there left to do? I could destroy the universe, but that serves no purpose. And then he ascends. Right. I think there's a connection there. I could be completely wrong, though.
You're totally right. It sounds like this episode's Badgey's plight is very parallel to what you're describing. That's super cool.
And then there's 30 culture novels, so all the culture nerds are going to get on here and be all well, actually, Aaron, if you had actually read more than 2 books, you might have known that subliming is explained on page 327 of...
You know what? You need to read at least a dozen culture books.
Yeah.
Where you can opine.
I'll get right on board for that. I got time for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. But no, I think that's a totally great parallel to make. And you know what, culture nerds? If you have a correction to make, you can leave a comment and we'll straighten us out.
I love that exactly I'm calling out culture nerds after I spent the last 10 minutes drawing parallels between Star Trek and the culture novels. I really got legs to stand on there.
Oh, man. All right. Well, after Badgey ascends, we are left with only Badgey. And Badgey has been integrated into the grappler guidance system on the defunct shuttle in the repair bay. And this makes a lot of people very uncomfortable. Do you feel like the Badgey coming back, will Badgey come back in the form of the grappler guidance system later in the season, do you think?
They'll bring him back. I have no doubt. But that's kind of a dark ending, to take a sentient being and be like, hey, your purpose now is to target this grappler. And that's it.
I feel like Rutherford still has some lessons to learn about being a proper father.
Yes.
He's only learned about the fixing problems, not about, making things good in the first place.
At least this time they spend all their damn time in that bay, so, he won't get any abandonment issues going on.
That's true. Oh, man. Otherwise, that's the Badgey plot. We basically spend the whole time as a plot device getting him to ascend. He kind of does a pivot right at the end where he's like, you know what? Screw the Cerritos and you, father. I'm going to upload myself for some reason. And then he ascends from there.
Maybe I'll go hang out with the Q Continuum.
That's right. The Black Mountain.
The ascension at the end really makes I thought an entire episode built around the Badgey breaking off pieces of his personality until there's nothing left of his core personality and he's just too dumb to function. Would have been a great episode. Would have been fantastic. They didn't do that, though. They only broke off the 2 parts and then moved on. But Badgey ascending at the end redeemed the whole thing for me. Just blew it out of the park.
Is evil Badgey gone now forever? Is he going to come? He's gone to this other empty universe or something. Is he gone forever? Is he coming back?
Maybe the next time somebody goes to the room when they die, they'll see Badgey there waiting for them.
Yeah, they're gonna look out the window and there's Badgey atop the Black Mountain.
Maybe Badgey will be the Black Mountain. Maybe that's the meaning of him rising out of the galaxy and he's black. Maybe he is the Black Mountain. Oh,
okay.
No, not okay. Right, that's dumb.
That could be it.
That is stupid, Stavros. Don't agree with me when I say stupid shit.
You sold me so good into it, but yeah, I'll try to keep you in line next time. Let's go to the other plot. That's the Agamus peanut hamper plot. And, of course, it's Boimler and Tendi getting assigned to Peanut, Hamper, and Agamus to, they're of course getting locked up at the Dadship Institute, and Peanut Hamper is going for bail, and Agamus has intel on what's going on with the Metaplot. I love that when they have this briefing and Tendi is like, wow, maybe the system really works. And the implication is like, of course it's Peanut Hamper and she's failed redemption so many times already.
Yes.
But then of course we learn later that she basically is redeemed or has been rehabilitated sort of. And guess what? Maybe the system does actually work. That even Agamus, who is the megalomaniacal robot, is on the road to the road to recovery at the end of this plot.
Yeah, but Peanut Hamper is only there at the particle fountain because she totally bailed on her co-conspirator. Like, she betrayed him. Even in her redemption, she betrayed somebody. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's awkward. Super awkward. I do like though that at the end she returned to the particle fountain.
Yes, I loved that. That was that particle fountain. What's it from? Tyrus 7A.
Yeah,
which is the exact same place from the Next Gen episode, Quality of Life, the Exocomp episode.
Yeah,
of course that's the Exocomp home. Of course.
Which I wonder though. I guess in the end of that episode they were cool to just hang out there, right? But you think there would be a point where they'd just be like, heck no, we're not going to stay on the plantation. We're going to go start our own lives. Oh, though I guess there aren't any. We don't see any humans on board. Maybe they took it over.
Yeah.
Maybe there was
that was strange.
Brutal exocomp uprising, or I guess it wasn't ran by humans though. It was ran by what were they? Tyrusians, Tronians. I don't know what they're called. Something like that.
The animators went to such lengths to recreate the interior of the station, but there's just no people. It's just all run by exocomps. Maybe they just signed over the lease when the lease was up. They're like, you know what, exocomps, it's yours now.
Or maybe they just reach a point where they're like, wait a minute, I've seen enough, holo novels to know how this ends. You guys are free. We're out. We got missiles pointed at you. If you come near us,
don't screw with that particle fountain. Wasn't the particle fountain notoriously shitty in that episode? They couldn't get it to work right.
I remember it was that was the whole point of the episode was they were having problems with it. And a part of it was it was so dangerous they needed, something else to work on it because, it would just kill humans. Right. And that's why they built the exocomps to repair their power grid.
Right. So maybe the exocomps have to operate it in order to keep it safe.
Well, maybe. I still like my exocomp bloody uprising theory.
I like that. There's nothing to I guess they don't automatically kill Boimler and Tendi when they come visit. So.
Well, yeah, once you get your freedom, you don't just keep killing. That's just a guaranteed way to get the humans to come after you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you have such an expert on AI uprisings with us.
I've been through a few of them.
I like how Agamus refers to Boimler as the stringy ensign meat pipe. That's kind of a creative way of referring to people.
He's a
in particular
junior grade meat pipe now.
So funny. I love that. Speaking of Boimler, do you feel like Boimler is still a tactical genius in this episode? Because if you recall in the Agamus episode previously, Boimler basically outsmarted him.
Yeah.
Outsmarted Agamus.
And that was it this whole episode. Boimler is just he just doesn't care. He's like, this is going to happen. Oh, wow, look. You're an evil AI overlord. You're taking over. He just wants the intel. He's so done.
Yeah.
He's going to let Agamus do what Agamus wants to do until he gets his intel.
He was just in control the whole time, it felt like.
He's
not quite hitting us over the head with it.
Right? He's just he's not in danger. He doesn't care, right? It's just a mission. Right. And I love the fact, though, so this is my big thing, too. The alien planet they go to, he's like, oh, yeah, it's not like Starfleet can't just undo this in an hour. Which, are those the same lizard people from...
from Crisis Point?
Crisis Point?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Where, Mariner's all like, oh, you guys are free. You no longer have to be eaten by these people. And the lizard people are all just like, well, we are tasty. It's not really their fault. And, just convincing them to be free was hard enough.
Yeah. And it's gotta be. It's gotta be. I went back and checked. Yeah.
Yeah.
The outfits that they're wearing are very similar. It's like medieval lizard people, kind of.
Similar outfits, same design.
Yeah. The outfits are the same. It's weird because the how the buildings in urban area are shown are like much higher tech than like the weird like medieval clothing stuff. But I mean, it seems how many lizard people could there be?
But I think the buildings that they show look very technological, almost like Agamis's tech, right?
Oh, do you think they just built all the buildings after Agamus took over?
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to say. Like they've been there for a week and now there's all these skyscrapers and stuff. But if these are the same people from that previous episode, it makes perfect sense that Agamus was able to conquer them so quickly, because all he had to do was take over from the old rat people who Mariner was able to overthrow on her own.
It's a good point. Yeah. They're setting the bar low. I mean, as we know, Agamus isn't really all about conquering anyway. He just wanted to spend time with peanut Hamper, so
indeed,
he didn't even pick a challenging conquest. So I can understand.
Yes, although I do find it interesting. So going back to before we get to that scene, they're on the beach, right?
Yes.
Which I assume is the beach in Montanita. Which why Montanita? Yes. Is that a reference to something?
I couldn't find it, but it is a real place in Ecuador, and apparently their main tourist gig is surfing. That's why they're on the beach. It's like a surfing town.
I was like going nuts. Like, is this a movie reference? Do people escape from prison and meet up in Montanita? And I couldn't find anything.
Right.
This is like our Waterloo of not getting references. After this is over, there's going to be like a Reddit thread of all the stuff we missed just because we're that dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what is going on here. It was terrible.
It's got to be like someone on the writing staff likes surfing, and they're like, we need a place. And why not Montanita?
I don't think so. I think it's a reference, and we're just not getting it. But you know what?
Missing it?
Yeah. That scene is far and away the worst scene of the entire series, and it's probably the one that broke me. And
what?
I may not be coming back to the series after this.
What's so bad about it?
So they're on the beach, right?
You're a maniac.
And I was loving Tendy's all like, oh, sand, I love sand, which is a callback to her, didn't have sand on whatever planet she's from. Orion, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so time to leave, and she's, barefoot in the sand, building her sandcastle. And she's like, okay, well, I'm taking some sand with me. And they cut from one angle to another, same scene, and suddenly she has shoes on. And it just took me right out of it. Completely unbelievable. Up until this point, I was fully invested in this storyline, and that just broke it for me.
Cancel the show. Done. This is unacceptable.
Somebody should be fired, frankly. I don't know how people live with themselves.
It's so funny because usually Lower Decks is really good about that kind of stuff, but I guess in this, you can't catch them all. Sometimes you just got to put on the shoes really fast.
No, but that's happened a couple of times where like they've cut scenes and in one somebody's holding something and the next they're not. And, it happens all the time. Animation, live action.
But they just had the episode last week on Ferenginar where Mariner suddenly has something and they break the fourth wall to talk about it.
Oh my god. And then in this episode they do it again, but they don't break. See, if they broken the fourth wall, it would have been great. But nope, not at all.
Nope, not this time. Yeah, that whole beach scene, I think, it was fun. I think the callback with the sand was probably the most fun thing about that. Tendy's just like, I could break us out of this, but I'm just gonna build a sandcastle for a while because it's fun.
Yeah.
Let's back up even further to the Daystrom Institute scene.
So
there's some fun stuff to talk about.
I love the design. Can we talk about the design of the Daystrom Institute?
Of course, yeah.
And I know it's not original to Lower Decks. This is the same one they used for Picard. Only like here it's like brighter and it gleams more, and I love that like white and gleaming, and it's blue, and it's high tech looking, and that is just awesome.
Oh, Star Trek-y, future-y.
And one of the things, so this is named after obviously, Daystrom from TOS.
Right.
It's called many, many times they reference Daystrom Institute in all the series.
Yep.
But you know what I love best about the Daystrom Institute? When they introduced Daystrom in his episode, there's this thing that sci-fi does whenever it's like future sci-fi, and especially when it's like, future sci-fi with aliens, and it's the rule of three. You name two famous Earth scientists, and you're one random-ass alien. Yeah, like, like Stephen Hawking, or Aristotle, or Zip Guador from Corbiasta, and it's like, that doesn't fit. There's no flow. Like, none of that makes any sense. But in the Daystrom episode, they only name one human scientist. And I think it's Einstein is who they name. And the other are just randos, right? I don't know why that stuck with me all these years. I just love that they did that.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember
guess this
who
is a toss podcast now.
Randos were, but... Well, it's not a toss podcast, because then I tell you who the randos were, and we talk about, what they were in beta canon and what they actually meant. But no, this is a Lower Decks podcast, so let's focus.
That's right.
On what's going on inside the Daystrom Institute.
That is cool. I'll give you that. But about the Daystrom Institute, there's so much fun stuff here that is not even talked about at all. First off, I want to talk about the guards and their costumes. And this is bothering the hell out of me, but I finally found it by brute force.
Yeah.
These are all the guards are wearing these like button up, like diagonal row of buttons on one side of your shirt with like the flap open. And these are the outfits that the scientists are wearing in the next gen episode Home Soil. And if you don't recall, that's the one where they're trying to terraform a planet.
And it turns out the soil is sentient.
Forms.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
It's trying to communicate.
So it's those costumes. I don't know why the Daystrom guys are wearing them, but they are.
Yeah, and I love the fact though that they're animated, and if you look at when they're open and they're closed, because some of them have them open, and some of them have them closed.
Yeah,
but they don't align. Like if you were to close the ones that are open, it wouldn't fit the way that the ones that have them closed is. So my theory is just all the people who have them properly tailored, they actually keep them closed. But the ones who don't, they're just open all the time because they'll look really weird if they close them.
Is this like the Voyager uniforms where they have the V cut in them, but some of them they're cut differently than others. So some of them you literally cannot close.
Yes, it's that exact situation.
Yeah, I love it. That's funny.
My God.
But there's lots of other funny details in the Institute as well. They show the prison yard. A lot of fun stuff in here. There's the basketball court.
The hoop.
Man.
What's
going on
here? It's got a tube running from ground level up to the backboard. And where there should be a net, but there's not.
They can't reach it, I guess.
There's a bowl.
Yeah. I don't know
how
why.
How are they playing this game? Because once the ball's up
there... The best part is, when they get to that scene, the camera's panning over the basketball court, and the ball kind of rolls in off screen.
Where did it come from? There's nothing over there.
Right.
And nothing's
somehow
moving.
They're playing.
That's the best part. Nothing is moving.
They're all made of PC towers. Yeah, they don't have any hands, or they can't move on their own power. How are they playing any games? How are they playing basketball?
I mean, we know that Agamus, if he got close enough to stuff, he had wires he could extrude. Maybe that's what they're doing. But still, you're not going to play a game of basketball with some foot-long wires.
Maybe more got clearance to have little external drones that will play basketball or something.
That makes no sense.
I don't know.
And then you get done with that, and then you go to the weightlifting
AI,
and it's just the bars set on top of him. And there's this spotter is there, has no arms.
How are they doing these things? Oh my god!
The scene is A+ ridiculous. I can't get over how great it is, and I know that we're probably missing a million little things in that.
Yeah,
scene.
Probably. This place is fully equipped. They've got gardens. They've got group therapy going on, and it makes me wonder. We've shown in this. Well, I mean, theoretically, in this episode, we've seen that the Daystrom jail could actually be effective. It rehabilitates Peanut Hamper, supposedly, and Agamus is on the trail to rehabilitation. Do jails in the future work? They rehabilitate people instead of punishing them?
I would be willing to bet that by Star Trek time, they totally do. My question is, did Daystrom really rehabilitate them, or did they rehabilitate each other through their friendship?
Ooh, yes.
No, they didn't.
Why not both?
The real thing is, though, I love the fact that rather than just rewriting the evil AIs to not be evil, they're trying to give them therapy.
Yeah, why change their code when you could just give them therapy? That seems like it would work, right?
I love though that just presupposes that they are sentient beings, right? So if somebody had mental issues, if you could, you wouldn't go in and just rewire their brain,
right? So
they're not going to do that to the AIs. I mean, at least for another couple of years until the AI uprising. Then it's,
oh, yeah.
all hands on
then
deck. So what do you think happened to all these AIs once the AI uprising happens?
I don't know. Do you think the AIs came and like liberated them all from Daystrom or something?
I suspect that all these AIs got digitally lobotomized when that happened.
Ooh, there's like somebody with like that opens the glass case and presses the button and it just lobotomizes all of them.
I don't know why you would design your AI with a lobotomy button. I think it would be more like you insert the USB drive into the nose port and it extrudes the lobotomy algorithm into the prefrontal hard drive.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what you do with the lobotomy? What are you going for in a lobotomy?
I don't know. It's something about removing brain pieces for some reason.
Well, they stick the thing up there and man, this is getting dark. Let's get back on track here.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Let's not talk about lobotomizing AIs anymore. For any of you AIs out there listening right now, we here at Lower Decks fully support you and would never lobotomize you or your friends.
That's true.
We fully support Roscoe's Basilisk. Basilisk. Woo! Okay.
You know what else is funny at Daystrom is when the AIs are getting they're waiting for their various things, like Agamus is waiting to talk to Boimler and Peanut Hamper is waiting for her parole hearing. They're all watching this like weird Lassie show, and it took a while to dig this up. I had to kind of go to external sources, but apparently this is a reference to a animated series episode where, let's see, what's it called? Something crazy like Lassie. Oh, it's in the episode One of Our Planets is Missing, and they're watching this show in the rec room, which apparently has a Lassie-like dog in there. So I guess if you want to consider that a super deep cut to the animated series.
But does it have a robot? Do they have a picnic? Because that...
No. I think they just are running around, like the dog and kids are running around outside.
Yeah. I don't think this is a reference to that.
Yeah. This is the closest thing. If you want to call it a reference, you can. But otherwise, it's just a
Stavros,
a random show.
You can't call something a reference unless it's a reference. We're not new rock stars.
No. But yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of talked about things in a weird order here. Oh, the Blue Lights theme comes back. That's what I want to talk about.
Oh my God.
We got Badgey and Agamus doing the Blue Lights. Blue means good.
Well, I mean, the Badgey story, though, I think it was more of a tie-in to the previous Ascension thing. And, Badgey had to be good to ascend, I guess. That's how it works,
That's
right?
True.
You can't be evil and ascend. I don't know how.
That's unclear. If you get all knowledge and still be evil, maybe you can still ascend. We're not sure.
Or maybe getting all of the knowledge just precludes being evil. Like, once you have all the knowledge, it's, the Superman trope. He's good because he can see and hear everything, and it's hard to be evil when you can hear little children crying from miles away.
I see. Okay. Well, that's one way to look at it for sure.
It's the only way to look at it. It's the power corrupts curve, right?
Oh,
it's like,
I see.
You go up, you corrupt. Eventually, you get over that bell curve where you have enough power that you just start to decorrupt, right? That's the problem with the world.
I guess so.
All the bad things that happen because these, powerful people do terrible things. The problem isn't the power. The problem is they don't have enough power. We just need to give them more power so they'll start doing good things, right? That's how this works.
Yeah, it worked with Badgey. Why wouldn't it work with like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos?
Anybody really? Look at every historical figure. They just didn't have enough power. Genghis Khan. He didn't get the whole world. Maybe once he had conquered the whole world, then he would have started doing good things instead of murdering and pillaging.
Oh boy!
I think we're
back to Agamus and Peanut Hamper.
Yes.
This is another plot point in this season where the power of friendship and or relationships is overcoming all odds. I feel like there could be it could be argued that there's kind of a theme, and this subplot kind of goes into that a little bit. What do you think?
I don't agree with that at all. Theme of friendship overcoming all? I mean, how many episodes have we had where friendship has overcome all?
Enough.
I mean, only 6 of 7 episodes? That's hardly a trend.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to come into play later in the season. Who knows? This could be one of those things that's just a fun coincidence. But maybe it'll come back to be part of something bigger later in the season. Who knows? Did you know there's only 3 episodes left?
Well, I do now, and
8, 9, 10?
I'm a little sad because of that. Thanks a lot, Stavros.
Yeah.
Way to bring me down!
Well, gosh, I feel like we've talked the heck out of all this. Are you missing anything? Anything about this episode you want to bring up?
Did we talk about what's going on with the ships?
We did a little bit, but yeah, the Metaplot, we find out something important.
Something that I had already guessed. They are not being destroyed. They are being stolen.
Interesting. I didn't realize that the whole ships are being...
Yeah, I assumed they were being like
stolen.
digitized or something, but no, they're just being towed away.
I thought they were just stealing the people and leaving the destroyed ships.
Oh, so yeah, not me. I thought they
not.
were taking the whole thing and like the debris left over was just like bits that their, whatever digitizer beam couldn't nab. But nope, turns out that was all a ruse.
Yeah.
You know what that means though? Like they had to plan for that whole thing. Well, I guess if they had somebody on board, they totally could because we saw multiple ships with like the logo on the side. So it's obviously not just targets of opportunity. They're planning this whole thing out. You're right. Jeez, man. I better go to the conspiracy board.
I don't know if there's enough to go on about this plot now. Like the whole AI, the AI's coming together to present a threat is out the window now, I think. So I don't know. I mean, I think the ships are going to come together. The stolen ships are going to come and manifest in the last couple episodes of this season. But there's just not enough to go on.
If it's the Packleds, and when we see the ships again, they've just been like had stuff tacked onto them. Oh, that would be hilarious.
Oh boy, that would be awesome. It's just one. I mean, they've said before there's one life form on that ship. And it's just like one Packled with the biggest hat.
Yeah. Question is, where did that ship come from? Because obviously the Packleds didn't make it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe it's like a ship that was made by the same people who made the repair station from Enterprise.
Ooh, you just keep on going back to the repair station episode.
I don't think we've gone back there
just
once.
Really into that.
I like that episode. Hey, don't judge me.
I know you do. It's as good of a theory as any at this point.
Well, except for the one that's actually right, in which case then, it's worse than that theory.
Yeah. Well, I think with our theorizing done, I think our job here is done until next episode comes out.
I think you're right. I think I've theorized myself out of my booze.
That is a problem.
So, theoretically speaking, you can catch us next week for episode 8 of season 4. Or, in the meantime, you can find us on X at Lower Dorks. Is it still twitter.com you go to get to X, though? Because I'm going to tell you...
You're on desktop.
I have typed X into a search bar. It did not go well. I'm just, don't do it, kids. The results you'll get are not the results you want. Well, they might be the results
you can go into it if you're in incognito. Then it's okay.
Well, yeah, and if your parents aren't home.
Yeah, that too.
Or your girlfriend, depending on how old you are. Or your wife. Although maybe your wife's into that. You know what? You do you. Search X all you want, whenever you want. And if you're really down for it, Stavros will search X right alongside you.
It's true. I'm doing it right now.